You know, in this crazy, crowded world of AI, it feels like a new large language model drops pretty much every week. But every now and then, a new contender shows up that really makes you stop and pay attention. Today, we're diving into one of those, the Yi model family from a company called 01.AI. And they're challenging some of the biggest names out there, not with just sheer size, but with a relentless focus on something else entirely.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to get to know this new contender, Yi. Then, we'll pull back the curtain on its secret weapon, which is an almost obsessive focus on data quality. After that, we'll see how it stacks up against the industry giants, explore some incredible new capabilities this approach unlocks, and we'll wrap it all up by asking what this means for the future of open source AI.
All right, so let's jump right in. Time to meet our new contender. The Yi model isn't just one thing. It's a whole family of models, and they are all built with a very specific and, well, some might even call it a radical philosophy.
And this really gets to the big question at the heart of this whole project. Can a smaller, open-source model actually go toe-to-toe with the closed-source, industry-leading giants that seem to dominate everything? Well, 01.AI is betting the answer is a resounding yes.
This really nails Yi's whole strategy. It's all about finding that perfect balance. The team was aiming for a 34 billion parameter model. Now, that's definitely powerful enough for some seriously complex reasoning. But here's the kicker. It's also efficient enough that it can be compressed to run on hardware you might have in your gaming PC right now. That focus on accessibility, that's a huge piece of their identity.
So, the big question is, how do you get this kind of top-tier performance without a monster 100 billion plus parameter model? Well, this is where their strategy gets fascinating. It all comes down to the data.
And here it is. This is not just some simple filter. This is a sophisticated, multi-stage data cleaning pipeline. The team pretty much attributes all of Yi's success to this process right here. They believe it's way better to train on 3 trillion really clean tokens, you can think of those as pieces of words, than it is to train on 10 trillion unfiltered, messy ones. So let's break that complex diagram down a bit. First up, they do the basic stuff, filtering for language, simple text metrics. Then, and this is cool, they use AI-powered filters to actually score the content for things like quality, safety, and just whether it makes sense. Next, they use clustering to group similar documents together and then just toss out the low-quality junk. And finally, they get super aggressive with deduplication to get rid of all that repetitive content. The point is, this is an incredibly thorough process.
And what do you get at the end of that whole process? This. 3.1 trillion tokens of high-quality training data. As you can see, most of it comes from web pages, but there's a really healthy mix of code, scientific papers, and books in there too, which gives it a really well-rounded knowledge base. They actually overtrain the model on more data than usual, betting that better data leads to a smarter, more efficient model when it's actually time to use it.
And this whole quality over quantity thing, it doesn't stop at pre-training. When it came to fine-tuning, while a lot of the industry is just throwing millions of auto-generated instructions at their models, the Yi team did something totally different. They meticulously handcrafted and verified less than 10,000 high-quality instruction pairs. And get this, their own engineers polished every single one.
And really, this quote from their paper just says it all. This isn't just some side project for them. It's the absolute core of their entire strategy. They're all in on the idea that less is more, believing a small, perfect dataset is way more powerful than a massive, noisy one.
Okay, so the strategy sounds great on paper, right? A focus on data, quality over quantity, but does it actually work? Does it translate into real performance? Well, it's time to put you two to the test and look at the numbers.
Whoa, okay, the results here are pretty staggering. Just look at this. On the left, you've got the Yi-34B model, and next to it, Llama 2 70B and Falcon 180B. We're talking models that are 2 to 5 times bigger. And yet, on these massive multitask benchmarks, Yi isn't just keeping up, it's winning, and winning decisively.
And this bar chart just makes it crystal clear. If you just look at the MMLU benchmark, which is a huge test of general knowledge and problem solving, you can see that performance gap plain as day. The smaller, data-focused Yi model is punching way, way above its weight class.
Okay, so it's good at academic tests, but can it actually, chat? This is where human preference really matters. On Alpaca Eval, Yi's chat model actually scores a higher win rate than GPT-3.5 Turbo. And on the super popular LMSES chatbot arena, where real people vote on which AI gives better answers, its ELO score, which is kind of like a chess rating for chatbots, is practically a tie with GPT 3.5. That proves its real-world performance is right up there with the best of them.
But here is the thing. The team wasn't done. They took this amazing base model and pushed it even further, unlocking some seriously cool new tricks.
200,000. Just let that number sink in for a second. In the world of language models, that is a massive number. So what is it?
That's how many tokens Yi can handle in a single prompt. A massive 200,000 token context window. And the craziest part is how they did it. They didn't have to rebuild the whole thing or use architectural shortcuts. They used this efficient, lightweight, continual pre-training, which makes it seem like the ability was already there, just hidden inside, waiting for them to activate it.
And look, this isn't just some big number they can brag about. It actually works. This needle in a haystack test basically proves it. They can hide one tiny fact anywhere in a giant 200,000 token document. And as you can see from all that green, the model finds it almost perfectly every single time.
And the cool stuff just keeps coming. They also developed EVLANE, which gives the model eyes, so it can see and understand images. And then there's this wild idea they tried called depth upscaling, which is a clever way to grow a smaller model into a more powerful one just by duplicating some of its middle layers and training it a bit more.
And this is just such a great way to visualize how they train their vision model. Think of it in stages. They freeze certain parts of the model, that's the snowflake, while they train other parts, that's the fire. It's this careful dance to get the vision and the language components to align and work together perfectly.
So we've seen the model, we've seen the data-first strategy, and we've seen the mind-blowing results. What does it all mean for the bigger picture, for the broader world of AI?
Okay, let's boil it all down. There are 3 huge things to take away from this. Number 1, and this is the big one, data quality is absolutely king. Meticulous data engineering isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it's a critical advantage. Second, this idea of overtraining on super high-quality data, it works. It lets smaller models completely outperform larger ones. And finally, and this might be the most exciting part for all of us, this proves that powerful GPT-3.5 level AI can be run locally, which is a massive win for privacy, for cost, and for accessibility. And that leaves us with this one final, really interesting question. For so long, the AI race has felt like it's all about scaling up. More parameters, more compute power. But if a model like Yi can come along and get these kinds of results by focusing obsessively on data quality instead, well, it suggests the next frontier of AI might not be about who can build the biggest engine. Maybe it's about who can find the cleanest fuel.